From intense action to complex conspiracies, Call of Duty Black Ops 6 offers a fresh take on the traditional first-person shooter campaign. But does it deliver on all fronts? Join me as we dive deep into the story, gameplay, visuals, and more to find out if this is the best Call of Duty campaign yet. Alright, let's kick things off with the story where Black Ops 6 has really upped the stakes. In Black Ops 6, we're transported back to the early 90s, a time of geopolitical turmoil with the Gulf War setting in the backdrop. You step into the boots of Frank Woods and his team as they uncover a deep-rooted conspiracy within the CIA itself. The campaign unfolds like a classic spy thriller, with Woods and his protege Troy Marshall going rogue after being framed as traitors. The stakes are high as they must build their own team, including fascinating characters like the technical expert Felix Newman, the enigmatic assassin Savati Dumas, and the returning Russell Adler, whose motives are constantly in question. The game blends historical and fictional elements beautifully. The Gulf War, Saddam Hussein's reign, and the shadowy power struggles of the time provide a rich setting that feels both grounded and intense. About halfway through, the story dips into some sci-fi stuff as well, with an eerie bioweapon facility full of mannequins and hallucinations caused by a leak of hazardous material. The result? Well, it was a storyline that feels more like an adventure epic than a standard war campaign, with a level of psychological intrigue that I did not expect at all. And then there's the casino level, a personal favorite. Imagine a high-stakes mission where you go undercover, hack into CCTV cameras, play some poker with some high rollers. The vibe here is totally Ocean's 11 meets Black Ops 6, adding a refreshing break from the usual action with some smooth spy gameplay. Definitely felt like an espionage game at times, which again, that was another thing I was not expecting. Now let's move into the gameplay and controls where Black Ops 6 shows its versatility. One of the game's standout elements is the Safehouse, and it's a sprawling mansion that serves as the team's headquarters. After each mission, you can return to the Safehouse, talk to other characters, learn more about their story, and it is actually interesting. This base feels dynamic and alive, allowing you to not only upgrade your skills and loadouts, but also connect with your team on a more personal level if you choose to do so. It's not just like a static menu, it's part of the world building. And the campaign is also action-packed with mission variety. Again, you'll find yourself in covert operations one moment, and then all-out firefights the next. There's a memorable mission where you infiltrate an enemy compound, and you have the freedom to choose your approach. Sabotage from the shadows or go guns blazing. Another standout has you driving through desert terrain to take down weapons of mass destruction sites, which feels a bit like infiltrating forts in Assassin's Creed. The controls are responsive and feel intuitive, blending traditional Call of Duty mechanics with a few new surprises. The grappling hook in the emergence level feels almost like a nod to Metroid Prime, giving you a new way to navigate through levels. Each mission feels tailored to engage you with unique objectives, and the variety keeps you on your toes at all times. Now let's talk about the visuals and art style, where the game really captures that late 80s and early 90s vibe. And the graphics in Black Ops 6 are sharp and full of period-specific details that immerse you in the era. From cigarette vending machines to the iconic posters at a 1991 fundraiser for Bill Clinton before he was president, the settings feel very authentic. The Clinton fundraiser is a high point, actually, showcasing the dedication to realism, as they even display high quality posters of him on stage, and his character is actually on stage too. And then alternatively, there's the Iraqi mission, which takes you into Saddam Hussein's palace. Here, the game doesn't shy away from opulence. There's gold everywhere, murals of Saddam on the walls, a display that reflects how these palaces were depicted in the media. These details anchor the game in reality while maintaining the gritty tone of the Black Ops series. Overall, the game runs smoothly with no major performance issues. I play it actually on my Xbox Series S, kind of because I want to get an idea of how this could potentially run on Switch too. And because I do have Game Pass, so it's like, this game's free for me. And I gotta say, I was extremely impressed with the graphics and the performance. Obviously, the frame rate was locked at 60 frames per second. I was playing in 4K, and it just looked damn good. And I'm like, man, this is really good for Series S. I can only imagine how it plays on Xbox Series X or the PlayStation 5, which is where I played Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, and that was really cool because, of course, of the DualSense controller. So this might be a game that I actually play again later when it goes on sale, like when I can pick it up for $20 on the PS5, maybe a couple years down the road, and give that campaign another whirl with the DualSense. But the late 80s, early 90s aesthetic was a refreshing choice that gave Black Ops 6 a distinct style compared to other titles in the series. Now let's dive into the sound design of Black Ops 6 because it deserves a mention. The soundtrack is composed with an ear for dramatic and heroic tones that fit the game's intense action sequences. Playing on Dolby surround sound was a real treat. Each weapon has its own unique sound profile. From loading a handgun to the thunderous blasts of shotguns, the music ebbs and flows with the story very well, intensifying during action scenes and then pulling back during suspenseful moments. The sound design also extends to the character dialogue, where each voice actor brings depth to their role. Woods, Marshall, and the supporting cast have memorable exchanges, and the dialogue adds a layer of charm to the team's camaraderie. So, who's the Black Ops 6 campaign really targeting? This campaign will appeal, I think, to a wide range of players. Fans of the Black Ops series will appreciate the returning characters and intricate plot twists, but even newcomers can find a lot to enjoy here. I think for players like me who come for the campaign rather than the multiplayer, this installment is one of the most robust in the series. If you enjoy first-person shooters with a strong narrative and cinematic flair, as well as like some really cool adventure elements, I think you're in for a treat. Moving on now to the content, and there's a lot to explore here. The Safehouse is a major feature, providing a hub where players can customize their character, train, and explore. You can collect cash during missions to upgrade your Safehouse, unlocking areas like a shooting range and an armory. The armory lets you fine-tune your weapons for each mission, boosting accuracy and firepower, and these upgrades that you get will last through the whole game. There's also a gear station that you can upgrade where you can modify equipment, adding even more depth to the experience. It's like adding perks to your character. What I loved most was hunting for hidden rooms, cracking vaults, and finding extra loot. It definitely gave me a bit of a GoldenEye 007 or Perfect Dark feel, and that was something that like really made me happy because I love those games. So each mission has its own unique objectives, and there are moments focused solely on espionage, which I think is a nice break from the action-heavy sequences. With missions that span everything from stealth infiltrations to all-out assaults, there's literally never a dull moment in this game. Now let's talk about the difficulty and pacing, and the game's standard difficulty level feels well balanced. It's challenging enough to keep you engaged, but it doesn't feel overwhelming. There are 4 difficulty settings, so if you're looking for a real challenge, the higher levels will push your combat and survival skills to the limit. The pacing is steady and avoids repetitive sequences, which I appreciate it. Each mission is unique enough to keep things fresh, and the story unfolds at a pace that allows you to absorb all the intricate plot details. Next, let's talk about the emotional impact and charm of the campaign. And Black Ops 6 has the flair of an action-packed 80s or 90s movie. Think like the movie True Lies meets a Michael Bay film. It's fast-paced, dramatic, and full of memorable characters. The team interactions and character arcs lends a level of depth to the story, especially for those familiar with returning characters. Woods and Adler have a story, and the banter between them adds a nostalgic touch. The cliffhanger ending also leaves you with a strong sense of anticipation for Black Ops 7. There's just something fun about the mix of action and drama that makes this campaign feel like a summer blockbuster movie. Now let's rate the fun factor. Does Black Ops 6 deliver? And the answer is yes, absolutely it does. The mix of different mission types, from espionage to full-on assault, kept me entertained throughout, and the campaign manages to pack in surprises. They keep each mission engaging. It's clear the developers focused on variety, ensuring that there's never a dull moment. So if you're wondering how long it takes to beat the game, according to howlongtobeat.com, depending on your playstyle, the campaign runs about 8 to 11 hours, with plenty to explore if you're aiming for a 100% completion. For a Call of Duty campaign, this is a solid length that doesn't drag, yet leaves room for exploration. Taking a look back at the game's legacy, where does Black Ops 6 stand? And I would say that the campaign builds on Black Ops 5, which took us through the Cold War era and now advances us into the Desert Storm era. This transition feels seamless, and the addition of the Safehouse and multi-mission variety, I think, sets a new standard for the series. The campaign's combination of history, character-driven stories, and sci-fi intrigue makes it one of the most memorable in the Black Ops series. And now for my final thoughts on Black Ops 6. In the end, I think Black Ops 6 is more than just a shooter. It's a fully immersive experience that balances character development, engaging gameplay, and a thrilling story. The addition of the Safehouse and the variety in mission structure sets this campaign apart from previous entries. For fans of single-player experiences, it's a must-play, and with the hidden Dark Ops challenges, the campaign offers great replay value, especially for completionists. If you enjoyed this review, please press the like button, subscribe, and let me know in the comments what was your favorite mission in the Black Ops 6 campaign. And if you haven't played Black Ops 6, what is your favorite Call of Duty campaign mode out of all the Call of Duties? I'm interested to know. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more in-depth reviews. And as always, remember, you're never too old to play video games.